Hey everybody, welcome to my channel of Pop of Culture. I am your host, the Esoteric and Facetious, no relation. And on my channel, I do video essay podcasts on social justice, human nature, pop culture, and how the three interact from a Blaque, bisexual, millennial perspective. Everything, and I mean everything, I say should be taken with a grain of salt, as I'm simply a college student who loves thinking critically and discussing the subjects I'm interested in. However, with that being said, my youth shouldn't be your sole reason to critique my views if you disagree unless it's truly relevant. If you want to debate any points I make, let's have a civil conversation. Feel free to check out my first 5 video essays. I did a video essay on processing celebrity death, losing Aaliyah and Kobe Bryant. That's my first essay. My second video essay, the death of real music and the problem of legend talk. My third video essay on colorism, transphobia, and homophobia, and how conversations on these topics can become reductive on social media. And my fourth video essay, where do we go when we die? And my most recent video essay on the real reason for quarantine. So those are my videos. Definitely check them out if you're interested. And I also have a cover channel, Pop of Culture Sings, where I cover my favorite songs. I'm a singer. I'm passionate about singing. I want to build my platform, potentially try to make it into a career. We'll see what happens. So if you're into throwback R&B, contemporary R&B, pop music, good singing, okay, then definitely check that out if you're interested. Yep. And a Pop of Culture is available on an array of podcast streaming platforms, sites, services, whatever you want to call them. You just have to go to the Anchor landing page below and you'll be able to see all the places you can listen to a Pop of Culture. If you want to listen to it when you're riding in the car, when you're on the go, doing whatever you need to do, then there's that resource for you. That will be in the description below, and my cover channel will also be in the description below. I'll be linking it in the cards, and it's also in my channel section on this channel, so definitely check those out. And if you want to stay up to date on all my uploads, what I'm up to, what I'm doing, you can follow me on Instagram at a Pop of Culture Pod, on Twitter at _Pop of Culture, and on TikTok at a Pop of Culture Sings. So today we are going to be discussing a controversial situation that has happened on YouTube, and I'm going to be giving my commentary, giving my thoughts. This is an unscripted video. So all my previous video essays have been scripted for the most part. So I wanted to kind of dabble into the unscripted side because, I wanted to be a little bit more organic with y'all, give y'all my thoughts as I think them, as they come out of my mouth. Even though it's good to do scripted videos, I also want to do some unscripted videos so y'all kind of get a little bit more of me, my personality, my vibe, all that type of stuff. So pretty much what we're going to be talking about today is Shane Dawson and Shane Dawson's 4-page letter to the beauty community. If you don't know, 4-page letter is a song by the late Aaliyah. Huge fan of Aaliyah. And basically, Shane Dawson literally sent a 4-page letter to the beauty community, where basically he talked about, and I'm not going to read the letter, the 4 pages, because it's 4 pages. I barely wanted to read it the first time through because I literally watched another YouTuber read it out loud because I was like, this is too long. Like, I'm a college student. This is summer. I'm not trying to be sitting here reading some petty foolishness for that long. So basically, in his letter, Shane Dawson talks about how egotistical, how narcissistic, how pretty much how vain and shallow the beauty community is, how toxic it is, and he just goes off. And he also talks about how he knew somewhat about Dramageddon too. He knew that Tati was planning a video, but he didn't do anything to stop the video because because basically he felt like James was out of pocket. He felt like James needed to be checked and have his slice of humble pie. So he didn't do much about it. He knew that it was a chance of it happening. And, basically throughout the letter, he talks about how toxic the beauty community is. He talks about B, how he knew that Tati was planning the letter, but C, he knew that, but pretty much he felt like James deserved it. And he said, he was just he was basically standing Tati. Like, I feel like a whole page of the letter was just him standing Tati. and him just saying it was this, and she beat her face through the gods, and she went Game of Thrones, and it'll be in the legends of history, and or whatever. And then after that, I think he talked very shortly on Jeffree, and just basically he was saying pretty much he gave Jeffree a few excuses, and he said Jeffree's family. So he said the series changed his life. He said that he regrets putting the drama in it's one of the things he regrets most in his life, and he's just gonna move on with his life and be strong. Like, he was just so over it. So pretty much, I feel like that was the letter. He was saying he's leaving the beauty community, and pretty much he also tried to say, like, even these smaller channels, he was saying that they're just as negative, and they also feed on toxicity and things like that. So pretty much that's what Shane Dawson said in his letter, a very, very short version. And this is a very popular trending topic, so y'all can definitely read the letter if you want to, but that's all I'm going to say. That's what I read. That's what I got of the letter. So I wanted to discuss, is the beauty community toxic? And my answer is no. And before I go into the beauty community in particular, I just want to talk in general about this idea of toxicity. So basically, I'm a member of a lot of different communities on YouTube, different fandoms, different things like that or whatever. So I will say, one of the things I am in is the Steven Universe fandom. I'm also in the Rick and Morty fandom. And I'm not really, I guess, in the fandom. I mean, I'm just somebody who watches the show, and sometimes I watch people who watch the show as well, who do YouTube videos and stuff. I may go on a subreddit every now and then or whatever. So that's my quote-unquote commitment to the fandom. But basically, in any group of people, including these fandoms, there's going to be people who do things that are cringe. There are going to be people who are too into it. There's going to be people who are just doing the most. There are people who are going to basically make, like I said, do things that are cringe, do things that are the most, and do things that are going to make everybody else, quote unquote, look bad. And I feel like that's pretty much what we see. In any group of people, there's going to be a certain standard behavior that's acceptable, and there's going to be people who push that norm. There are going to be people who push that standard of behavior, and basically they're going to get ridiculed for doing that, and then people are going to say, this community is toxic. So for example, and I'll just give examples for each of the things I gave. So for Steven Universe is or it was, because the show's concluded, I would heavily suggest you watch it if you can, because I feel like it's a show that has some really good representation, some really good storylines. It's not perfect, but it's a really good show. I really enjoyed it. So basically, Steven Universe is a show that aired on Cartoon Network. It was a very popular show during its run, and it finished this year, 2020, and basically Steven Universe attracted a lot of different types of people, because Steven Universe was a show that had a lot of queer representation. So they had there was a fusion of two, and I'm not going to spoil y'all, because I'm like, even though the show came out in 2013, I'm not the type. So there was a fusion of two characters, and they're basically a lesbian relationship. And within those two characters, it's a lesbian relationship between two female characters. And so this is a children's cartoon. So this was something that a lot of people were really happy to see. And I just feel like the show kind of pushes a lot of norms and stuff like that. Like the dad, Greg, he's very free-spirited. He kind of lets Steven do his thing. The crystal gems, Garnet, Amethyst, and Pearl, they each are like moms to Steven in their own special way. Amethyst kind of like a big sister. So pretty much I feel like the show is about kind of accepting yourself, loving yourself, and just, I guess, having family and support and all these different things. And it's a really beautiful show. And like I said, I definitely suggest you watch it. There's a lot of good messages about, trusting yourself, not allowing people who hurt you back in, forgiving people, different things of that nature. So basically, a lot of people love Steven Universe, and it attracted a lot of people. It attracted some people because they liked the animation. They liked that this was like, I feel like Steven Universe is like one of the shows that really took Cartoon Network off, and because a lot of people have talked about the Cartoon Network Renaissance, where basically shows like Regular Show, The Adventures of Gumball, and Adventure Time were shows that basically made Cartoon Network a channel that I feel like, because of a lot of flawed live action shows and a lot of things going on with the network kind of fell off from it. It wasn't doing the things that Disney and Cartoon Network were doing, but these shows kind of really gave Cartoon Network a space with a lot of people watching, a lot of people engaged. So I feel like shows like Steven Universe, like I said, attracted a large crowd of people. And so they, of course, attracted a lot of these people who a lot of people would call these SJW types, which we can talk about later. And, I feel like that's definitely a charged term, and there's a lot of negative associations. But a lot of people who are marginalized, a lot of people who are queer identifying, gender nonconforming, things of that sort, were people who were attracted to the show. There were people who were attracted to the show because there was queer representation. Like I said, there was even like a lot of, like even some gender non-binary, like not representation. There was a lot of things going on in the show. So a lot of people who felt marginalized and felt like they didn't see themselves represented on TV were happy to see the show. So that was good that a lot of people felt like they could relate to the show. But the problem came about with a lot of these people who are in these like SJW spaces, or like these social justice minded spaces. I'll call them that because SJW is a term that, a lot of people who are against social justice use. In a lot of these social justice minded spaces, there can be a lot of friction, a lot of people calling other people problematic and stuff. Like there was actually one of the mother of Steven, Rose Quartz, someone actually did a drawing of her where she was very thin. She's actually she's a very full-figured woman in the show, but someone did a figure of her and it was very thin. It was a very thin figure, and people were like giving her death threats and things like that because they felt like, oh my gosh, why are you trying to body shame her? Why are you trying to do this? And it was a young artist, I'm pretty sure, so I don't think it's appropriate for anyone to get death threats, of course. But I feel like, then people are going to say the Steven Universe fandom is toxic because somebody within the fandom, which has several people, did something bad, so now the community is toxic. That's what I see with Shane Dawson and with a lot of other things. Within the Rick and Morty fandom, there was a lot of people who were very excited about the Szechuan sauce at McDonald's. If y'all don't watch Rick and Morty, I think it was a Pickle Rick episode, but basically in one of the episodes, Rick talks about how there was this dipping sauce for McNuggets that was around, I think in '95. It was when Mulan came out. It was like a McDonald's promotion. And basically, he talks about how good the sauce was. So, of course, the Rick and Morty fans went crazy trying to find the sauce, going online, trying to look for recipes of the sauce. So, McDonald's actually re-released the sauce. They didn't tie it back to Mulan, and they didn't tie it to Rick and Morty officially. But we knew what it was. We knew what they were doing. So, a lot of Rick and Morty fans were excited to try to taste the sauce to see, what Rick was talking about in the show. And, of course, there were some people out there who were, acting crazy, doing the most, saying Pickle Rick, and acting like Boo Boo the Fool on camera, and all these places. And people are gonna say, the Rick and Morty fandom is so toxic because these few people were doing the most. And that's the thing I see with Shane Dawson. Shane Dawson has interacted with some of the highest paid people in the beauty YouTube community. People like Tati and Jeffrey, who literally, even let's keep it a buck. Shane himself is probably one of the highest paid members of the beauty community without having posted one makeup video on his own. He's probably one of the highest paid with all the money he made from the Conspiracy palette. And just highest paid in general, if we want to play it that way. But anyways, basically, Shane Dawson has interacted with people like Tati, James, and Jeffrey, who are probably within the top earners of the beauty community. So when he's talking about the toxicity of the beauty community, he's looking to people like them. He hasn't interacted with a lot of these people who are, in the middle of the U.S., who are in the Midwest, who are, doing a project panel on their ColourPop palette, and, they're just giving weekly updates. He's not talking about, that college student who's providing all these dupes to high-end products because they can't afford them, and, they want to give other people who have limited income an opportunity to feel beautiful and to have those products. And I'm not saying those people can't do problematic things either, but I guess what I'm saying is, I cannot stand in human nature, and I guess in just humans in general, humanity, whatever you want to call it, I cannot stand when people say that XYZ is toxic because a few people do something bad. And they're just like, oh, this is toxic, this is terrible. Because here's my thing. I feel like what a lot of people call toxic is friction. I actually watched a really good video from somebody did, I think her name is Introvert Reacts. Let me see, hold up. Her name is Introvert Queen. If you do not know, 𝘎𝙪𝙗𝙗 𝙒𝙘 is a reactor. She's a part of the quote-unquote Hater Nation. And the Hater Nation is a group of YouTube channels who critique obese women like Amberlynn Reid and Chantel of Foodie Beauty. And basically, they will tear these women down. They will shame them for not losing weight or not losing weight at the speed that they feel is appropriate. And 𝘎𝙪𝙗𝙗 𝙒𝙘 herself is a Black woman, and she is somebody who herself has struggled with weight loss. And so a lot of people have, found it very critical, have been very critical of 𝘎𝙪𝙗𝙗 𝙒𝙘 for not losing the weight in the way that she expects some of her other people to do, like Amberlynn Reid, Chantel. And so pretty much what Introvert Queen was saying was pretty much what she was saying is obviously within different groups of people, there is a norm, like I said, a norm of behavior, accepted norm of ways to act, things to say, things to do. And if you deviate from that norm, then people are going to, give you hell for it. They're going to pretty much get you to do what you need to do to get you back online with what the beauty community, what the Hater Nation community, pretty much, like, a lot of people felt 𝘎𝙪𝙗 went too far. And because people felt 𝘎𝙪𝙗 went too far, there was going to be backlash. There's going to be things that pushed her back into the social norm, where either she's going to adhere with the social norm or she's going to be ostracized. So pretty much what I feel is happening with people like Shane is just seeing human nature happen. He's calling it toxic. Because my thing is, I've been a part of a lot of YouTube communities, whether it be the beauty community, it be the, let's see, I'll watch people like the drag race reviewers for RuPaul's Drag Race. I'll watch different commentators. And pretty much what you'll see, I used to watch a lot of booktube videos. I'll watch some lifestyle vloggers, I watch a lot of things on YouTube. And pretty much one of the things you'll see is no matter what community you go in, there's going to be some levels of drama. There's going to be some levels of tension. And that's not because these people are egotistical narcissists who just want money and who are vain and shallow and blah, 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 blah. It's because we as humans are all people who want things. We're told that we need things. There's certain things that we need to get to be happy people. And we're in this world where there's a lot of competition. There's a lot of resources. There's more people who want the resources than the resources themselves. So I feel like that's why there's a lot of tension. Because, everyone's, wanting to be the best, do the best, have the best, things like that. So as YouTube is a competitive platform, several people can be succeeding on YouTube, but I also feel like there is an element of competition because it's like, if I drop my palette, how do I get the most sales? Because if you're dropping your palette, how do I make my palette special? How do I make my palette unique? How do I continue to grow my subscribers continually over time as I get more and more subscribers? How do I remain on the top? I feel like with the beauty community, it's just honestly a microcosm of everything else in society. A lot of people, I feel like a lot of that tension and competition comes from the fact that a lot of people feel like, how do I make myself special? How do I make myself the most successful one? How do I win? Because I feel like a lot of times in society, we're kind of taught things like survival of the fittest, and I feel like we're not taught a lot of abundance mindset. Abundance mindset versus scarcity mindset, or basically abundance mindset says there's enough pieces of the pie for everybody. There's enough where everybody can win. And I feel like in our capitalist society, we're not told that enough. We're not told enough that there's enough out there for everybody. There's enough YouTube subscribers, there's enough monetary success. We're not told any of that. What we're told is basically kind of this idea of you have to be the best, especially if you're Black, if you're a minority, if you're a marginalized group, you have to have your stuff on point. So it's like, you can't, I feel like in our society, we're not told that, you go to college, you you go to college, you get a good degree, you get a good job, and everything's going to be okay. We're told like, you know, you got to go to school, you got to you have to compete with everybody else to get the best internships, and then you have to compete with the other interns at the internship to get the best performance at the internship so you can try to get a job. And even when you're applying, you got to get the best resume, you got to get your resume written, got to get it rewritten, got to get it professionally written, all this type of stuff, because it's like, at the end of the day, because I guess with scarcity mindset, you are not special. You have to keep on working and keep on working and keep on waiting through until you finally appear at the top. You finally rise to the top above everybody else. I feel like in our capitalist society where there's an uneven allocation of resources, I feel like that's what a lot of people in the beauty community and in other communities, they feel that pressure, especially people who grew up middle class or working class. I feel like there's a lot of pressure for these people to kind of maintain this, because I feel like that, like I said, I feel like what we see in the beauty community, all this toxic behavior, I feel like a lot of it is, I feel like it's very insulting to hear Shane Dawson say this stuff is toxic, because I will say he's been privy to a lot of conversations I haven't been a part of. But I feel like for me, the issue I have with people saying that something is toxic is, I feel like I said, he's saying the whole beauty community is toxic. And for me, like I said, I find it very insulting, because I feel like I said, he didn't go to this person in the middle of the U.S. who's doing a Project Pan. And I feel like he also didn't, like, that's my thing. Like, I feel like there's so many people out here who do YouTube who aren't even making any money, who are trying to get to that 4,000 hours of watch time, who are trying to get those 1,000 subscribers. There's people who make YouTube money, but they also have another full-time job who do this as a hobby. I feel like the only people that he was talking about when he was talking at the beauty community are these people who can have all this power and have all this influence through their money, and who can kind of make these big decisions and kind of, you know, make these shady videos and be, as he would say, manipulative and deceptive. So I guess my thing is, like I've basically been saying throughout this entire video, within groups of people, there's going to be friction, because we are all raised very differently. Some of us are raised in two-parent households. Some of us are raised with single parents. Some of us are raised with the single parent and absent parents. Some of us were raised by grandparents. Some of us were raised in foster homes. Like, all of us, and we were raised with different cultural values, cultural norms, things that we were told were good, things that we were told were bad, different religious beliefs. All of these things, we are raised with all these different beliefs about money, beliefs about being humble. We're raised with all these different beliefs. So we, as people who are very different people, raised very differently, with very different belief systems, are all put into this big wide world, and we have to somehow get along and not kill each other and maintain some sense of peace and normalcy. So of course there's going to be tension. Of course there's going to be drama. There's going to be conflict. And one of the things I can't stand is, I feel like with Shane Dawson, he's kind of advocating for this toxic positivity. And just not Shane Dawson, but people in general. Like, there's a lot of these people who act like if you have any type of altercation with somebody or any type of fight with somebody, that somehow you're a bad person and you're toxic. And I feel like my thing is, it's like, there's going to be friction, there's going to be tension, and I'm not excusing any types of fights or negativity that are caused by people. But at the end of the day, there can be two good intentioned people who have some friction and who have to work it out through a conversation. I feel like a lot of this toxicity, labeling things toxic, is I feel like a lot of it comes off as very immature. Because my thing is, if I'm having an issue with somebody and someone else is having an issue with me, we can address that. We can talk to each other. We can be open with each other, and I can say, hey, the way you said this made me feel like this, and you can say, well, I said that because of this, because you made me feel like this, and we can kind of reach understanding of one another, and, you know, talk to each other and have an understanding for each other. But I feel like once we say, oh, so-and-so is toxic, now there are some people who obviously you can have the conversation with them and they're not going to be receptive to it. But like I said, I feel like my problem with Shane is, I didn't see a lot of this involvement in the beauty community. I didn't see him working with people with hundreds of subscribers, a few thousand subscribers. Of course, when you get to the top of anything, whether it be an MLM, whether it be YouTube, anything. When you get to the top of the top of the top, of course those people are going to be acting very differently, because those people are the ones who have the elite power and privilege and money. So those people are not acting normal. Like the top people, the top earners of the beauty communities are not, the top earners of the booktube community, the top earners of the commentary community, of the drama community. These people are going to be acting very differently because they're in the 1%. So I feel like using the 1% as a way to shame the entire beauty community is so problematic. Like I said, conflict is a part of human nature. And I feel like as we mature as human beings, we should understand that conflict is a part of human nature. We should learn how to address things, to confront people, to handle confrontation. But I feel like as long as we have this toxic positivity that calls conflict and negative emotions toxic, we're never going to be able to evolve, because we're just going to say, somebody said something about me, that's toxic. But it's like, okay, somebody said something about me. Because even with Shane, and I obviously don't know what it's like to be a big YouTuber. I literally have two subscribers as I'm making this video. And I'm not saying that, Shane isn't struggling. I hope that Shane is able to, speak to someone. He definitely has the money and resources to speak to mental health professionals. So I hope that if he is struggling so much, he can address those things. But I guess my thing is, I feel like my issue with Shane is like, I do agree with what a lot of people have said. A lot of his series, his docu-series, I feel like are built on the backs of drama. They are built upon someone did something controversial, like whether it's Tana and TanaCon or whether it's Jake Paul. You are literally taking some of the most controversial people on YouTube and doing these quote-unquote docu-series, especially even Jeffree. He's taking these people who are very controversial, these people who have done a lot of drama, but you can work with them, but the beauty community, who you're talking about as a whole, is too toxic. So I just can't with that. Like, here's my thing, to anybody watching this, whatever community you're a part of, whether it be Harry Potter, whether it be like your racial or ethnic group, whether it be pretty much any group you can be a part of, whether you're part of the beauty community on YouTube, the commentary community, I don't know, anything, the perfume community, there's always going to be tension because people have been raised differently. People have different expectations of what's rude and what's not rude. Like, there can literally be tension because somebody tries to offer you a handshake or something, but in that person's culture, they don't shake hands, or that person just themselves doesn't like to be touched for personal reasons. I guess what I'm saying is there's always going to be a lot of difference because we're different people who are raised differently in basically essentially different worlds from one another. So as long as that happens, as long as that's going to continue to happen, we're going to have this quote unquote toxic stuff going on. So that's all I have to say. That's that on that. Thanks so much for listening to this. Yeah, I am your host, the Esoteric and Facetious. This has been another episode of A Pop of Culture. And yep, if you like what you hear, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Make sure to hit that bell so you are notified each time I upload. And on my videos, I do this thing where I ask y'all questions, and I'm going to answer them with my answer in the comment section. I'm going to pose a question, and then we're going to have a discussion in the comment section below, because I actually really do want to know what y'all have to say. A lot of these YouTubers, they'll ask you these questions, they'll do these things, but then they'll never respond to a single comment, and that is not me. I want to know what y'all think, because I'm young, and I don't have that much of life experience. I want to know what y'all think. So question number one will be, do you think the beauty community is toxic? 2, why do you think the beauty community is toxic in comparison to other communities? 3, what is the community on YouTube or in general that you think is 100% not toxic? And those are my questions. I will pin my answer down below and we can get a discussion started. If you want to keep up to date with me, keep up to date with the show, then definitely follow me on Instagram at apopofculturepod, Twitter at @_popofculture, and TikTok at apopofculturesings. Feel free to duet my TikToks, react, whatever you want to do. And yep. And if you want to support me, if you want to support the show, then you most definitely can. My Cash App is below the link. is below. Feel free to do so. No pressure. But if you do choose to donate to the show, you'll be featured in the credits of all of my episodes. You can continue this journey of a pop of culture by looking to your left. There is a playlist of all of my video essay podcasts that I've uploaded so far. So if you are new to the channel, you can binge watch. I have at least 5 episodes done. So yeah, you can binge watch all of those episodes, catch up, give me your thoughts. In the center, you can see a button to subscribe if you just haven't subscribed yet. And to your right is a playlist of all of my covers, so you can listen to those. Let me know let me know what you think, give me any song suggestions, get into that. And that is all I have for y'all today. Have a great day. Have a wonderful day. Bye-bye. Love y'all.